Hey, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so tonight I want to do something a little different, and I'm going to be focusing on divine masculines' spiritual journey and their ascension. Okay, so just remember, use discernment, take what you need, leave what you don't need, and please use the spirit of discernment as you are viewing this video. If you are triggered by anything, I do encourage you to face your mirror and heal that bit. Okay, now let me set my intentions. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, my true guides, for showing up. Thank you for protecting us as we go through these portals, and I ask that you close the gates to any karmic energies. Thank you that this message reaches the right people at the right time in the right place, at the right places, and so it is. Okay, so where is the divine masculine on their spiritual journey right now? So I got the Five of Wands upright and the Two of Pentacles reversed. Put those two together. Okay. What truth is the divine masculine resisting or afraid to face? What is delaying their growth? The devil comes in the reverse. What divine gift is trying to activate within the divine masculine? A spiritual or ancestral gift wanting to awaken. The Emperor. What does the divine masculine's higher self want them to surrender? Seven of Wands, reverse. What inner masculine archetype is rising within the divine masculine? The evolved version of this masculine's energy. The Two of Cups. Alright. What role does the divine feminine play in divine masculine's ascension? How has their presence or absence impacting the divine masculine's growth? Do it again. Too many cards, people. Alright, let's see. Just give me a card. Give me a card. One card. Thank you. The Empress reverse. And how is spirit supporting divine masculine's transformation right now? What's the sign of divine intervention and guidance and grace on their path? Definitely feel like they're being helped as far as giving them confidence or helping them with their strength and their confidence. There go that Two of Cups again. Okay, and final message from the higher realms. What the universe wants divine masculine to remember as they rise. Ooh, Five of Wands upright. All right. So, let me get comfortable, okay? So with the Five of Wands upright and the Two of Pentacles coming out in the reverse position. I'm sorry I couldn't twist that all the way around, y'all. I have a hand injury. But the divine masculine is in the thick of it all. It's like they're in the thick of their inner and outer conflict, okay? I feel like they're overwhelmed by choices, responsibilities, obligations. It could be some internal conflict or chaos. Spiritually, I feel like the divine masculine is battling distractions, like really trying to stay organized, okay? And this seems like on a soul level is what I'm hearing. But it's like when it comes down to the distractions, it could be competition, it could be emotional disorganization. But whatever is happening, the divine masculine soul is definitely awakening, okay? But when it comes down to their 3D reality, you know, because it's hard for the masculine to kind of see past the 3D, okay, which is the illusion, right? But when it comes down to that 3D reality, it's like they feel unstable, okay? And so I definitely feel like the masculine is trying to create some type of stability for themselves in the 3D, okay? They are being stretched to their limits, and it's causing an imbalance. But they need to just kind of, and how I'm hearing it is like, stop resisting. You know, whatever the truth is, face it. And for some odd reason, that's what they're afraid to do. It's like they're afraid to admit that they're not in control, right? I got the devil card that came out in the reverse. And instead of admitting that and releasing whatever the toxic patterns are, these karmic ties or addictions, it's like they keep just kind of like repeating that cycle over and over and over again. And it's like deep down inside, I feel like the masculines know. It's like they know it's time to break free from that. They know it's time to reclaim their independence. You know, they know it's time to let go of the codependencies. But it's still a part of them that fears, you know, who they'll be without that. You know, because it's familiar. You know how sometimes people are just, you know, used to toxic, and if it ain't toxic, they don't understand, like, you know, healthy is unhealthy to them, okay? To some people. But however, it's like when you got something that's familiar, and that pattern, that behavior, it kind of keeps you in bondage, okay? And it creates an illusion. It's like an illusion of control, all right? And you know that is going to be completely shattered. What you're saying, like, what are they supposed to do without those codependencies, right? It's just fear, right? And guess what? Fear is also part of that devil energy. It's false evidence appearing to be real, right? And with the emperor coming out in the upright position, spirit is trying to activate within them that they are in control. Wow. That's the gift. That their divine leadership is activating, and spirit is calling the divine masculine to rise as they evolve, okay? Like, they got to come from the masculine to what? The divine masculine. They got to be the emperor in their life. They got to be disciplined. They got to be grounded, protective, and wise, right? And that's everything that the emperor is, okay? And I definitely feel like they will get there, okay? They got to be a respected leader. You know, their power is very sacred, but they have to step into it from alignment and not ego. And that seems to be the thing that kind of like holds the divine masculine hostage, okay, on their journey. So what does the divine masculine's higher self want them to surrender to? And I got the 7 of Wands in the reverse position. It's the need to constantly defend themselves. It's like their higher self is saying, lay your armor down, like, chill, get comfortable. But look, you know what? Divine feminine does the same thing. Divine feminine is always in that defensive mode of, why? Because you're trying to protect yourself. And once they realize that not everyone is against them, that hypervigilance is rooted in trauma. That's what it is. It's rooted in old trauma. And so spirit is trying to ask them to release that, to stop fighting these imaginary battles, and to stand in truth instead. They can stand up for themselves and their beliefs, but it can't be coming from their lower self. It can't be coming from their ego, okay? Now, the next card that came out was the 2 of Cups upright. I may be going into a part 2 of this video, y'all. But however, when it comes down to the masculine's archetype that's rising within them, it's the 2 of Cups, the lover, okay? The divine masculine energy, 911 on a timer, is evolving into one that is capable of sacred union. And that's dope. They're learning to show up for emotional intimacy, for vulnerability, for soul-to-soul connections. And that's the part that divine feminine and divine masculine seem to be lacking. It's like, it may have started out that way, but then throughout the journey, you guys are probably like, what the hell? But however, they're learning how to connect. They're learning their capacity to grow in love. Let's just put it that way. If they allow it, right? Because we already know everybody got free will, okay? But however, stay tuned for part 2. Peace.